All the readings show this planet to be completely ordinary. But when we use the variance key, we can see that the entire planet is a massive precursor artifact that looks like a planet. The precursor information here indicates that it is called the cosmic undevolver and that it can restore precursors. It indicates that the Dak-Tak-Lak-Pak are supposed to re-evolve the precursors by putting the devolved precursor on the surface of this planet-sized cosmic undevolver and using the variance key. But according to this, the precursors are long overdue for a re-evolution. Looks like the Daks are goofing off and not following instructions. The precursors are behind schedule. They've missed several undevolves already. By the way, from what we can determine from this technology, it kills the precursors to re-evolve them. We have placed the Ortog on the surface. The Ortog is now within the domain of the cosmic undevolver. Nothing's happening. Was that? No, nothing. Wait! The undevolver is activating. The Ortog's physical characteristics are changing. We're recording significant neurological changes. Its glandular system is undergoing a profound transformation. The undevolver has initiated a massive data transfer to the Ortog's central nervous system. Now switching to external viewer.
Are you? Yes, I suppose I am. I am surprised to be undevolved by you. I do not believe that my interval of sentience is sufficient to accommodate 1,000,000 questions. My time is limited, and my responsibilities are legion. Once I have attended to my myriad responsibilities, I shall expend such time as I have remaining in my limited span to reply to your queries. I shall now begin my myriad tasks. Now scanning races that have recently developed. I was afraid of that. Now scanning your databases. Oh no, that is sorrowful indeed. My tasks are now complete. I have assessed the current state of the galaxy, from new sentient races to the integrity of reality itself. I have succeeded before my neurological pathways begin to shatter under the ravages of the cosmic undevolver. In my remaining moments, I shall not sink gently into oblivion, but shall rather struggle to fan the dying flames of my own sentience, that I may slake your thirst for knowledge. Scavenging a precursor vessel does not equate to deserving it. It appears I will have to expend some of my limited interval of sentience in the distasteful task of eliminating you.
But according, we have its gland.
Yes. Hubris among the simpler races is refreshing. It often indicates courage in impossible odds. I must now attend to my... Once I have attended to my mission, I shall now be... Now scanning races. Now scanning. My tasks in my... First, you and your crew must promise not to reveal that we Ortogs are precursors. Then you must promise not to harm devolved precursors. Finally, you must promise that you will not use your knowledge of us against us. If you promise these things, I shall entrust these secrets to you, and you alone. We have chosen to hide in plain sight, and we would no longer be safe in our hidden devolution if you revealed our presence. All races would seek us out, to be blessed by the precursors, or to demand our secrets. Good. You may now ask your questions. Ask. The Kasari Quadrant rainbow worlds must be cleaned. All antimatter wastes must be removed from the surfaces of the local rainbow worlds. This will allow them to perform their natural function, stabilizing minor perturbations in the space-time continuum. We predict that galactic hyperspace will return in anywhere from 1 to 10 years after they are cleaned. You cannot. We have discovered no way to stop the inexorable destruction of the space-time continuum due to the Eternal One's depraved and heedless abuse of unnatural interstellar fatigue. The only way to stop the degradation and eventual collapse of the galaxy is to stop the Eternal Ones. My race, which you call Ortogs, are really but one of many races that have reached a similar stage of development. Like so many other races, we have aspired to fulfill the seemingly limitless potential that nature provides through the great riddle of evolution. There were legends and hints of earlier precursors when my race was first evolving, many galactic cycles ago. Like us, these races rose from the slime, strode the stars like giants, and then faded again into oblivion with the advent of the Eternal Ones. Unlike us, they are gone forever. We were on the brink of forming sentience at the time of an Eternal One feeding. This not only meant that we were spared from destruction, but that we could develop sentience very early in the new galactic cycle. We measure galactic cycles in Eternal One feedings. We maximized our potential quickly and reached the stars. We found evidence of older races that were destroyed in the cataclysm and found very complete records. We then focused all our energy into finding a way to survive. We won many galactic wars and collected as many artifacts as we could. But we could not find a way to stop the Eternal Ones from consuming our sentience and ending our race. Facing imminent obliteration of our entire species, we took a step only slightly less terrifying. We stripped the intelligence from almost every male, female, and suckling of our species. This devolution was a voluntary process. Those who wished to stay and fight the Eternal Ones could do so. They died, but the rest of our race did not. We left massive caches of our technology on all our planets to aid in our gradual re-evolution, and then rode out the Eternal Ones harvesting in blissful non-sentience. As we re-evolved, we were able to use our artifacts to aid our evolution, reconnect with other precursor planets around the galaxy, and advance our civilization further than it progressed in the previous cycle. Some precursor worlds get taken over by other races, and some of the artifacts get stolen by other races, but enough of the precursor worlds re-evolve to continue our species. When the Eternal Ones are close to returning, we devolve and begin the cycle again. All and none. We are our own inheritors. Many races have misinterpreted our artifacts as referring to a separate. So far we only know how to make it work on ourselves. Besides, if we shared it with the wrong race, they might destroy us during the time we struggle to regain sentience. We want to help other races understand these mysteries, but our first duty is to ourselves and to keep our race safe during our sleep of reason. Yes, we must monitor the process, but the DAC-TAC-LAC-PAC programming apparently went awry during the ravages of time, and they did not undevolve us recently. We are glad that you did. The Eternal Ones are close at hand. We must make sure that we do not start to undevolve until their time has passed. Ask your questions. The Eternal Ones are a horrific gathering of entities whose very form of being is so alien to all other sentient creatures that we can barely begin to fathom their ways. When a galaxy produces many sentient races, some mysterious force signals the Eternal Ones, who interdimensionally translate themselves into the galactic core. They subdue all opposition with their powerful ships, rip open countless hyperspace portals, and consume all sentience in the galaxy. In their wake, they leave many planets badly damaged, all members of all sentient. Sometimes reality recovers, sometimes it does not, and the entire galaxy is destroyed. But most times the damage continues to reverberate throughout the galaxy, occasionally imploding a star or twisting planets off their axes. From our studies of them, we theorize that the Eternal Ones evolved like all other creatures, arising from simple chemical interactions and evolving toward more and more complex energy exchanges. They passed through a state of physicality and sentience akin to yours and mine, and then transcended into a state of near total energy. They went from synthesizing energy from the consumption of matter to absorbing energy directly, but they committed a fatal blunder. For all their power and intelligence, they lacked wisdom. They knew that they needed to rise to the next state of being, but they trembled with dread at the thought of surrendering to their new state of being. They did not wish to abandon the familiar comforts of the material world, so they became paralyzed on the threshold of their next evolutionary state, afraid to make the leap, but they continue to develop into beings of pure energy. The Eternal Ones consume a vast amount of power to prevent their own race from transcending into the next, unknown state, and as a result, they require more and more rarefied forms of energy to survive. First, they needed any form of energy. Then only energy from life forms would do. Now, only the bioelectric energy byproducts of sentience will suffice. They have vast powers and vast intellect, but their fear has turned these advanced beings into genocidal vampires and perverted their natural process of development, just as they have perverted the natural development of other races. No. It is rapacious greed and faulty stewardship of lower races. From the lowliest symbiotes to the greatest energy beings, all living species are interconnected and have responsibilities to other species. The Eternal Ones have no right to be recklessly destructive with the ongoing existence of so many species. Even if that cynical calculation were the proper law of the universe, the Eternal Ones are violating it by destabilizing the fabric of time and space. They spend little time and effort ensuring that their feeding does not damage the equilibrium of the galaxies. A galaxy is an intricate natural system dependent on the interplay of myriad processes. The Eternal Ones undermine these processes and risk destroying the very crucible of life itself. If they destroy all galaxies, they die as well. Even in their advanced state, they are not immune to that basic moral law, that all beings are fundamentally interconnected. The Eternal Ones no longer have a conventional name. Instead, they have a mathematical formula that expresses every aspect of them. Rather like a genetic code, this formula uses a mathematical structure that is so alien to anything we know that even our semi-sentient computers are unable to process it without self-destructing. The strongest computers can survive processing it, but are driven mad in the process and can no longer make logical connections. We know the beginning of it. The Eternal One name actually comes from a misunderstanding of the first symbols in the formula. The formula looks like it spells Eternal One, so we began referring to them that way. Oddly enough, this play on words, or play on numbers, works in the language of every race that has developed mathematics. Some precursors say that this is proof of a malicious, or at least mischievous, omnipotent entity. Others say it simply proves the unknowable nature of the universe. We do not know. First we hoped that we could learn to adapt to the feeding, and evolve a new form of sentience that is not palatable to the Eternal Ones. It is possible that what you call precursor potential is the first step in developing this kind of immunity. But our many cycles of devolution have prevented us from having the time to develop such an adaptation. The only path we can imagine begins with transcending to the Eternal One's level of development. Then, perhaps you could reason with them and convince them of the error of their ways. Perhaps you could convince them to be bold enough to step across the threshold and transcend to the next level of awareness. We doubt this would work, since we believe that they are aware of their intransigence, and simply do not care. Perhaps. But first you would have to develop to their level, surpassing even the precursors by a greater leap than we have known in galactic history. Perhaps there is. You should know that we built an Eternal One signal deflector, hoping we could use it to deflect the mysterious homing beacon the Eternal Ones use to locate a galaxy full of sentience. We wanted to make them overshoot the Milky Way by a few galaxies, but we could never get the deflector to work properly. We continually refined it, but it still needs some final adjustments. We may perfect it after a few more cycles of harvesting. I regret that. You show great promise. The rainbow worlds are the precursor's gift to a wounded galaxy during our cyclical devolutions. They are massive stasis fields that are built to absorb and neutralize any kind of energy and withstand any sort of attack. Each individual rainbow world serves the vital function of smoothing out all but the most severe perturbations in the fabric of a local space. Together they link with one another across the vast reaches of space to form a galaxy-spanning precursor device that stabilizes the galactic space-time continuum. We built them during our third cycle of existence, when the Eternal One's repeated assaults of unnatural interdimensional fatigue threatened to tear apart the natural structure of the galaxy. The rainbow worlds keep the galaxy stabilized while we are devolved. No. But it is understandable that other races would think so. Our advanced language is difficult to translate, and space-time pollution stabilizer could be misinterpreted as galactic garbage dump, especially since we left many unstable artifacts there to take advantage of the neutralizing effect. The rainbow worlds are impervious to most energy forms, but antimatter wastes prevent them from properly performing their essential function. The Eternal One attack begins at the galactic core and radiates outward. The stabilizing conduit of rainbow worlds must follow the same radiant pattern. Also, since the rainbow worlds emit energy that covers a broad range of the spectrum, most races sense them as a rainbow of sensory input. To you optically oriented humans, they appear as a visual rainbow of color. The spectrum saturation is appealing to the senses of most life forms and compels them to investigate. These combine to forewarn newly evolved sentient races about the significance of the galactic core. I do not know. They are new to this quadrant. Our remote sensing apparatus reveals that they are interdimensional projections of a greater creature, but I cannot see what this creature is. We cannot say. Our remote sensing equipment could not record the arrival of the ores into Androsynth space. The Daktak-Lakpak are mere maintenance automatons. They were built to be semi-sentient scrubbots, networked into a central system. Their job is to monitor our equipment over the millennia, and make sure that one of us is routinely undevolved. The Daktak-Lakpak seem to have suffered severe bit decay lately. They tried to reprogram themselves, but only made themselves more machine-like. They are prone to breakdown because we had to build the Daktak-Lakpak to be far less sophisticated than our other sentient computers. We had to ensure that they could not be driven mad by the true name of the Eternal Ones. The true name only destroys them when they try to read it. It does not drive them mad. That is a question I cannot answer. They are self-programming and have created new lockouts. If you can find their specific reinitialization code, you can reprogram them. Mycon were our planetary transformer biots. We built them to terraform, and also to stabilize our planets. We needed them to protect us from the planet-shaking, crust-displacing Eternal One attack. The Mycon were programmed to be just under the sentience threshold. This way, they would not be destroyed by the Eternal Ones, but could continue stabilizing worlds filled with devolved precursors. Elder Mycon were supposed to write their standard programming onto the organic memory banks of all newborn deep children. This would ensure that they never became sentient enough to fall victim to an Eternal One attack. But it appears that during the last galactic cycle, Mycon programming began to suffer from bit decay. They began to speak in incoherent fragments. Sometimes they would directly echo the voices of their precursor masters, giving them instructions. They even began to destroy the wrong planets. As the signal-to-noise ratio in their programming became worse and worse, their organic nature reasserted itself. The Mycon actually began to evolve and develop sentience. During your colonization of the Kasari Quadrant, the Mycon were so weakened in Vux raids on their planets that they were unable to continue suppressing the Deep Children. What is your position on the Mycon Deep Children? Then we will tell you that you have the means to help them. We built an artifact to neutralize Mycon programming. Before the emergence of deep child consciousness, the regroover turned standard Mycon into inert lumps. Now it should release the deep child. I see that you have already found this artifact. It's called a plasma regroover. Except for the Clairconkler and the Daktak Lakpak, they all seem to be races struggling with their own potential. The Clairconkler are mysterious to me. They appear to be similar to the ancient Ta'alo race, but we do not know how. They are all races struggling with their own potential. The Exquivan are coming close to manifesting their precursor potential. The Viro-Ingo are the result of one of our genetic experiments. The Ulk appear to have been aided in their development by evolving from spores in our largest artifact cache. We did not intend for sentient life to form there, and we are baffled about how it happened. The Harika and Yorn baffle us, since we are unsure of how their unlikely symbiosis occurred. This gap in our knowledge is unsettling. They are all races struggling with their own potential. The Pakunk and the Utwig have developed their precursor potential to a high degree. The Utwigs seem to have reached the limits of their potential, but they are still very advanced. The Chimur are a remarkable race that we do not completely understand. We do not know the origins of the mysterious Chinjesu, but the Murnmurn were one of our living machines, the mother ark that birthed the Daktak Lakpak. The Murnmurn were supposed to lie dormant until we activated them. They came alive 1,000 years ago, during the time the Daktak Lakpak were not attending to their duties. The race called the Slylandro were clever enough to find a way to hide from the Eternal Ones by drastically changing their sentience, and by hiding in a gas giant that is inherently immune from planetary disruptions. In order to understand our own potential, we needed to find a way to isolate it in non-sentient creatures. We tried removing essential genetic material from races, producing two flawed, partial versions of the original species. We never succeeded in isolating the source of our own great potential. I am surprised to see that some of our experiments, like the Vux and the Viro-Ingo, survived and gained sentience, despite the damage to their beings caused by their missing genes. You did well in restoring them. Ask your questions. Is it not clear? The red spiral rail is but the outer housing that encloses the artifact we built to locate sentience with great potential. Using unwitting sentience, it maneuvers itself into proximity with advanced beings, but the housing has been separated from the artifact. Since the rail houses the seeking artifact, many races have come to believe that the housing alone is the seeking artifact. It is called an Ultron. It is a living intelligence that is also very close to the spaces between dimensions. This gives it the ability to detect precursor potential. Yes, they appear remarkably prescient, even if they believe the Ultron responsible for their own flashes of insight. Now it appears the Ultron has found you. Yes. Thank you for your service to us. I now release my agonizing grip on my intellect. Remember me. Farewell.
Captain of the... May your mission...
Icon. Captain, League scientists have determined that the sentience... Captain, League scientists have... Icon.
Captain, we think that if we modify the Herald Sentience Thresher with the Dak-Tak-Lak-Pak Sentience Collator and the Precursor Sentience Notation device, we can boost efficiency exponentially. Then we can use the Ebon Hinge to channel it into the open silo. The modified Sentience Thresher can passively collect the byproducts of sentience-formed beings who are in the process of thinking, not dying. It no longer needs a vast quantity of sentience, but a wide and varied quality of sentience. We need to increase the amplitude of the sentience energy with sentience from a variety of races. If you can collect sentience from the homeworlds of at least 13 races, we might be able to completely fill the sentience silo.
Will do, sir.
Captain of... That does not seem like a very heroic way to stop the Eternal Ones. We would like to rend them limb from limb, or particle from particle, or crush them. But feeding them seems far preferable to our entire species dying in agony. We agree to donate sentience energy. Captain, you have again impressed the Urquan with your resourcefulness. Perhaps in your next incarnation, you shall be born as an Urquan. We do have one request, however. We request that the League find a way to defeat the Eternal Ones before their next attack.
Captain, happy day of emergence into this plane of reality to you. But, Captain, you do not look pleased. You now think we do not really know what you have come for. But we do! Our surprise party present to you is our sentience energy. Splendid! This is most auspicious. You found a way to make friends with the greatest demonic force in the 7 spheres, and even feed it lunch. How cozy! You are no longer a mere fledgling flapping your wings damp with amniotic yolk. You are a full-fledged seeker. Run, Captain. Fly like the wind. For it would be a strange irony if all sentient life were to perish because you chose to banter too long with your admirable spiritual advisors. Fare thee well.
Oh boy! Hey, boss captain, Duke's reporting for duty. From our brains? Jack Flack Whack Whack says Dukes don't have much brains. I don't think us has any to spare. Okay, you can have some smart stuff.
Greetings, Captain! We are actually delighted to see you! You no longer look so repulsive to us. Will this hurt at all? Very well, we agree. Yes, by all means, take what you need!
Hello again, friend Hunam. We make merry in celebration of your arrival. How go your foolishly courageous and noble efforts to save the galaxy? I'm sure you're doing very well, and can spare some time from dealing death and devastation to any offending races for long enough to have a nice visit. Please stay as long as you wish, and keep your massively intimidating ship in our orbit fending off all enemies with its mere presence. And while you are here, you can give your dear friend, the Spathy, many more worlds to colonize so we can make more ships and become even safer. What? Is this safe? How does it work? Are you sure about this? Where did you get this device? Do you know where it's been? Are you sure it's mentally sanitary? Who donated sentience before us? Did they clean it? How do we know we won't be reduced to brainless, blubbering blobbies lacking our splendid Spathy intellect? Well, what about... Oh, never mind. We'll contribute sentience.
Hello again, courageous Captain. We stand ready to assist you in any way we can. What can we provide? Captain, again you amaze us with your ingenuity and craft. We are honored to contribute and would give far more to the cause.
Hail the conquering hero! We have rejoined our Vux brethren. We are eternally grateful to you. At last, our race is complete again! How can you say that we are not friendly? I'll rip out your nervous system and play it like a violin! Just kidding. Got you going there for a minute, didn't I? Of course! Did you think our cells would change overnight based on new genetic material? We've begun work rebreeding a new generation based on our rejoined genes. Some Vux are on our ships, and some Viroingo are on their ships. We are beginning the reassimilation process by getting to know our long-lost genetically transposed twin selves. We
Hail, great captain!
and healer of the Harika and the Yarn. How may we... Very well. You may try. We'll be watching carefully.
Captain, the League's are... What do... We have scanned your device and have determined that it may indeed perform as required. We agree.
You have returned to our special place. This is not permissible. Leave. Disaster. I shatter and dissolve.
Free! I am now free! Oh, thanks to you for our release, for we are released! Hello, hello, hello! We give hellos to the captain. We answer with zeal. Yes!
Greetings, noble leader. Friend human, you have delivered us from our ignominious servitude. Though we no longer owe you a boon, we still wish to express our gratitude.
We extend our sincere greetings to the remarkable being who returned to the Utwig the meaning for our continued existence by nodding our facial appliances collectively in a smart salute indicating both respect and gratitude. How may we assist you? We will gladly contribute our sentient energy. We celebrate your brilliance.
Hi, Captain. How can we... Captain, you're a genius. We humans are honored to be allowed to contribute. How can we help? Talk to you soon, Captain.
be extra sentience good enough? We'd say, okay. Woody, this be proof of sentience. No more be say extra be dumb as cheese. Or move. Now extra be proving intelligence. Be win, human, win!
After the Eternal Ones had come and gone, I was filled with a deep sense of satisfaction that went beyond the thrill of military victory. I'd won wars before and defeated seemingly unbeatable enemies. This was different. Yes, I'd fought a lot of battles and won a military campaign, but in the end, what had saved humanity, its allies, and its enemies had been the resourcefulness of many races working together to satisfy beings that we bear. Only time would tell if we'd learned enough to protect ourselves from the Eternal Ones in the future. It was now clear that there was nothing malevolent in their nature, and the lesson we learned in the end was one of coexistence with other races in our galaxy and with the most awesome and alien beings in the known universe. The words of the precursor echoed uneasily in my mind. We'd gone in search of the precursors and found ourselves. We had a long way to go to realize our potential as described in his prophecy.